Hello everyone, so today we are going to do something a little bit different. Today marks exactly 1 year ago that my mother passed away from stage 4 pancreatic cancer, less than 9 months from her diagnosis. So obviously it's weighing on me today, and we're just going to talk about her and honor her by remembering her today. So my mother knew from a young age that she wanted to be a nurse. She volunteered to be a candy striper when visiting her grandmother in Texas, and she helped out some neighbors who had disabilities around that same age, maybe a year or two sooner. And she knew from the start that's what she wanted to do. She had to start and stop nursing school many times. Plans change. She got married really young. Had 4 kids, and finally decided to go back when I was age 10. I'm the oldest, but she stopped a few times. My kidneys failed. I had to go on dialysis, so she had to take care of me. 2 years later, she tried to go again. I needed a kidney transplant, so she dropped out again, and she actually got tested and matched me, and so she gave me one of her kidneys, which shows how generous I'm loving my mother was. And 2 years later after that, she went back to school and was finally able to finish. And she worked on a neuro and back floor for a couple years. And then she got onto the labor and delivery floor, which she had always known that's where she wanted to be. And she was there for several years until she decided to be a lactation consultant and start up the mothers and babies clinic in our community. And she just worked with mothers and babies, and they all loved her. It was definitely her calling. I still, when I go into the community, sometimes get stopped and asked if are you Janet Smith's daughter? And I'll say, yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. She was so great with me, and whatever their baby's name was. And I don't know if I would have made it without her. I'm so sorry. I heard she passed away. And I get that constantly, all the time. And so does my brother, who lives in town. And so it wasn't just a big loss for my family, for her siblings, her kids and grandkids. It was a big loss for the community. And so it just shows how loving my mother was, and full of compassion and mercy and grace towards everyone. My mom loved to dance. She took ballet for a while. She loved to sing. She would do harmony parts. Me and my brothers, we all learned how to do harmony from my mom, and my voice sounds a little bit like my mother's, so it's been a little bit hard to sing because I sound like her, and it's hard to sing when you cry, so but my mom loved to sing, and especially Christmas carols on Christmas Eve. And hopefully, if I can figure out the technology, I'll be able to download an audio clip of us singing, and you can hear my mother's voice in it later. But my mom was also loved to sew and bake, and a lot of baking goodies over Christmas. She sewed a wedding dress for my cousin Sharon. I think if you can sew a wedding dress for someone, then your level of sewing is like, expert level. I did not inherit that talent. But my mom just loved to have fun, hanging out with friends. She loved to travel, went on many adventures, went to the Caribbean islands with friends, went with a friend to go with her friend to pick up a baby that her friend was adopting from Russia. She went to Ireland with her older brother and sister a few years ago. And so she just loved to travel and have fun. But I think if you could sum my mom up in one big thing, she was a woman of compassion, full of mercy and grace. Very much reminiscent, kind of fits the bill along those nurses in the show called The Midwife. And so that's pretty much my mother. She loved her grandkids, loved her kids. I think that was the hardest part about knowing she was not going to make it, was not being able to watch her grandkids grow up. A couple of them are really young, and so they may have a hard time remembering her. I think that was the most difficult thing for her. But my mom was definitely a woman to look up to, and I can only hope to achieve the level of love that my mom gave everyone. I'm not sure if I will. I definitely haven't achieved that level of love yet, but we'll see. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Here are some pics of my mother. sin nor sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. He comes to make his blessings flow, far as the curse is found, far as the curse is found, far as the curse is found. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his